thank Mrs. Walsh for hosting this event this evening. I also have to say I'm truly humbled and gracious for the opportunity to speak to our graduates. I provided many graduation speeches that fell on deaf ears, but I have to say I never thought I'd be talking to this crew and have this opportunity. So to all of you, I'm deeply honored and completely gracious that you would have me here tonight. Most importantly, before we get started, I'd like to congratulate our graduates. You've worked hard, you've definitely played hard, you have accomplished greatness, and I'd also like to thank you for letting me be a part of this event tonight. I don't even know what to call this. This is like the graduation this is the graduation speech I always wanted to give. It's starting out like this, but trust me. If you have youngsters here, you might want to have the earmuffs ready. And I'll let you know when a good time to call those out and implement them, so get ready. So, you're a good-looking group, and if they say you're a good-looking group, and if they say, you know, it's good-looking people that have it a little bit easier in life, you guys should do all right. Except for maybe you, Ben. Not sure what this is, but you know, you'll work out. Don't worry. You'll grow into it. It'll get better. So, of all the people you got today, you got Mr. Pulowski to talk to you on this occasional moment. And like I said, I spent giving a lot of graduation speeches. But my kids and my wife have never attended any of them, so I'm sure they're a little bit nervous right now themselves, just as though all the parents in the crowd tonight are pretty much just as nervous and wondering what's to come. So, parents, this is a mommy situation. This is a mommy moment. This is what we're going to do. It's a little bit different, but if you're with your spouse, standing next to your spouse, mommies, I want you to close your eyes. We're going to have a little flashback, and we're going to reminisce on how all of this started. Go for it. All right? Mommy's eyes closed. Here we go. It probably started out with something like this. Honey, remember our breathing lessons that we had. Breathe, breathe. Fuck that. I want ice chips now. Give me the ice chips. Where are the ice chips? And I want the epidural. Give it to me. Let's go. Bringing life into this world is probably one of the most moving days in anybody's life. But then again, here we go. Ready? Eyes closed, mamas. Okay. Our eyes are still closed. We got first baby steps. You remember those first baby steps? First toes in the sand. 8th grade graduation. The big boy bed or big girl bed. That was a good one. Their first haircut. Mike, did you get into that big boy bed yet? First graduation. They were the best of the times. This is what we did. We did this so that we could remember those and have all those memories, and now we'll have our graduation. These are our babies. They're our kids, and they're ready to move on, and what we're going to do tonight is move them on as best we can. So here's our disclaimer. For the parents of the young ladies here tonight, I have to say I don't know all of you that well. I'm hoping that you'll find something of value in this talk that I'm going to give, but let's just say this. Ladies, you're guilty by association. If you don't know what that means, you are 100% guilty by association. You had to know that if you were going to run around with a crew that refers to themselves as Wakanda, that at one time or another, today being the day, you're going to have to be subjected to some uncomfortable language and some of those, oh shit, did he just say that kind of moments. Here they come. So here's the first part. You ready? You little shits. Let me tell you something. Over the past 4 years, you ransacked our basements, you slept at other people's houses more than you slept at your own, you played beer pong every opportunity you had a chance, you peed in our sump pumps, that was messed up. You emptied our beer fridges, you watered down our craft vodka. And let me tell you, when you water down vodka and you put it in a freezer, guess what? It freezes. Okay, so don't water down vodka anymore. And I have to tell you, I think laundry is the kryptonite of a teenager because none of you ever did a stitch of laundry your entire lifetime. I don't get it. The perplexing part, you ready? After all that, number one, we still love you. That's crazy. But here's the second part. We are willing, after all of the mayhem, we are willing to spend an exorbitant amount of money to send you to college for 4 more years of this shit. That's crazy. Well played, my young friends, well played. You played us very well. That's it. That's my little rant. I'm sticking to it. All right.
That's it?
Here's some good stuff. You ready? It's all in your head. It's all in your head. If you think you can, you will. And if you think you can't, you will not. No one, except your parents, is ever going to tell you that you're awesome.
Oh, thank you.
And to be honest with you, when your parents tell you you're awesome, they feel like they kind of have to because they don't want to hurt your self-esteem. Yes. Okay? So I'm telling you, based on what I see here tonight, and I've seen some real freak shows walk across the stage and grab a diploma, I can tell you. What I see here tonight, you're pretty awesome. It's a growth mindset, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. The way you perceive yourself impacts your performance. So here you go. Know this, you are the greatest. I had a girls basketball team when I graduated college. My very first teaching job, I coached a girls basketball team. I never played basketball. I didn't know anything about basketball. I ended up being a head coach, and I inherited a team of girls who were track athletes that could run till kingdom come. They didn't know, they didn't have it in their head that they were a good enough team. After we sat down and we put together a little bit of a saying, we said a creed every day before our games. Every game we sat down, we said our creed because you couldn't pray, so we called it a creed. The creed went like this: I'm the greatest. I can perform at levels greater than my ability. Don't tell me I can't do something. I can do anything. Don't tell me I'm not the greatest. I know I am. I'm 2 times the greatest. I'll succeed because of my inner arrogance. Look at what you've accomplished these past 4 years. You're the greatest. The academics, the sports, the community service, the class officers, and by the way, that girls' basketball team went to the state championship.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah. And not for nothing, it was 1990 for the guys out there. We ran a UNLV fast break and a Bowling Green half-court trap. How many of you guys heard about that? Because that's exactly what we ran in rec basketball. And how many championships did we win?
Back to back.
Back to back, 2 years.
Right.
CT rec on me.
Right here. All right. Here's some of the greatness that we've discovered over the past 4 years. I witnessed a brand new language developed in 5 hours in a beer tent in Germany. It was a one-way conversation, but damn it, that man knew what he was saying. I had no idea what he was saying, but that man knew exactly what he was saying. Ben hit his reset button, right into the kisser. Reset him, got him right back on track. Some of the best stuff ever. That's the greatest. Johnny, those are the most amazing linguistic skills I've ever seen. So how did all this awesomeness happen? Good schools, Instagram, Snapchat, parties, your parents. How did all of you get so great? I'm going to tell you. I know how you got so great. I've researched it, and I spent my entire life studying it.
Taylor.
Well, what, was I saying something? We'll take 2 high-achieving adults, call them mom and dad. A couple glasses of wine. A couple hours later, you won that race, my friends. 100 million people jumped into that pool and you won. You hit the jackpot. You scored, you hit the lottery. And you know what the lottery is that you won? 7th most expensive county to live in the United States. Top 10 place to raise a family. That's what you got. The golden ticket to Awesomeville. That's where you are. You are a product of your environment. Look around you. You're surrounded by greatness. Your parents, your brothers, your sisters. There's not one person that lacks greatness. I'm looking into this crowd right now. Everybody here has a level of greatness that far supersedes anything that you would find in any other community. I know it. This community helped raise you. You are a product of your environment. Parents, I think we have leaders in every industry. I know right here we have pharma, we have insurance, we have legal, we have doctor, we have medical. We have Mr. Green, still a mystery. I'm not sure exactly what Mr. Green is. But listen to how great Mr. Green is. Somebody flies him to Colorado every week for a whole half a week. He's 2 times the greatness. That's 2 times the greatness. Your environment impresses their values on you at a very young age. Once you're born, it starts. This awesomeness happened because, believe it or not, you're a high achiever. Your parents are high achievers, and it could be a curse. Because, like it or not, you're going to continuously strive to improve on your greatness. After 4 years of college, there's going to be an MBA, there's going to be a master's degree in something, there's going to be med school, a second master's, certificates, certifications. Everybody here tonight, most of them can say that they're not done after 4 years. You are great, and you will continue to be great, and you will foster your greatness for years to come. And these friendships that you've designed, or these friendships that you developed over the short lifetime that you've been here, they're built on heartfelt admiration, respect, and these are the most valuable friendships. These friendships will withstand the societal crisis that you see on the news every day. Why? Because active discourse is healthy. Could you imagine agreeing with all of your friends all the time? Absolutely not. I love a good battle back and forth. I love to go back and forth with Mr. Mal or Sylvia. Sylvia and I have some of the best battles in town. At first, I thought I could help Sylvia see the light. But then I've accepted that some people just are wrong. And you just got to let them go. Their perceptions are their realities, and Sylvia knows she can come right back at me afterwards, and I'll take it. But here's what you have to realize. Just as I'm a product of my environment, and all of you are a product of yours, so is everybody else in the world. And not everybody was raised in an environment like yours. As much as I may try, your belief system was created, as much as I may try to change your belief system was created over time, and it's ingrained in your brain, as everyone else's is here tonight. This is why acceptance, understanding, and compassion keeps friendships alive. It's also why you have to be careful in college, because college can test your belief system. You're going to be exposed to a variety of different values and morals and situations where when the light bulb goes off, you have to know if it's not comfortable, you walk away. Each of you have your greatest moments here in high school, and they're the ones you'll speak of for the rest of your lives. I speak of mine every once in a while, and I listen to Mr. Bulkins every weekend. College will create some great adventures, but let's be honest, some of the escapades you guys got yourselves involved in over the last 4 years are pretty legendary. I expect each one of you, when I'm at your weddings, to tell me exactly what happened. That's what happened to me when I was growing up, so here we go. You are the greatest. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do something. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. Those assholes out here who tell you that you can't, they have a grip on you and they know exactly what they're doing. They plant those seeds of self-doubt in your mind and they stop you dead in your tracks. When you let them in, they instantly preclude you from reaching your fullest potential. That's not fair. You work too hard. Don't listen to it. What's important to know is that when you see these no-nos, you see them coming. The no-nos walk into the room. Nemo's dad, you remember Nemo? Nemo's dad was the biggest no-no in the ocean. Nemo, you can't speak whale. Nemo, you can't swim. Nemo, you can't go out to the reef. The little guy with the little messed up flipper, he was fine. He was like, no, I'm doing it. That kid had perseverance. That little fish, he was determined, right? I wrote down here, little fish with a disability. That's messed up.
Switch that.
That's not right. I'm lucky I skipped that part, but then I said it again anyway, so that's stupid. Okay, so here's what a no-no does. You ready? No-no walks into a room and says, that's stupid. Why are you going to do all that work? You can't do that. You're not smart enough to do that. You can't make that team. You're not good enough for this. They all fly out. That you can'ts and the no's fly out, and they hit you dead in your tracks, right? They stop you. And then all of a sudden, all you hear about for the next 10 minutes is how awesome they are. I did this, I did that. They have pronoun, what did we call it? Pronoun deficiency. Their pronouns are all I's and me. It's not us and they, it's I's and me's. When it's all about you, it's not good. Remember, here's our first use of the sign. If you're a no-no, you stop right now. You don't walk into a room and tell somebody they can't do it, because you never know how awesome somebody can be. If you have nothing nice to say, ready? Read the sign. You can read it out loud, it's okay. If you have nothing nice to say, thank you. You see, self-doubt's a metacognition of one's ability. You ready? Specifically, self-doubt can be considered the metacognitive representation of uncertainty about your ability. All right, grab it. Let's read it again. Think of it this way. Matt says to Drew, Drew, you can't ripcord that beer that fast. Once that happened, right, your brain is filled with all these little pockets of like memory. And off into Drew's little closet, right, is this little self-doubt. It's way back in the back of the closet, and it's stored in there, probably underneath all the porn he just looked at on the internet, right? But it's in there, okay? So then what happens? Drew pulls the ripcord, right? Drew pulls the ripcord. He doesn't get it done, and then boom, that little doubt flies out, and all of a sudden, Drew failed. He's not that great, and he's one step down the ladder of greatness. That's how self-doubt works. It's stored in your brain, and it's there, and it can cause social and emotional damage. So, when you see the no-nos, you walk away. Know that, well, okay, here's the next paragraph. Parents, not the greatest example, but let's be honest. There's nobody here that remembers anything about their high school graduation speech. Am I right? Well, except for maybe, like, what? I'll go back to Sylvia. Sylvia probably remembers something about her high school graduation speech. But I don't think Tim remembers anything after his Hoop for Hearts video. From that point on, I think Tim forgot it all. Skip that.
Yeah.
That next one's I'll skip, parents. Right? Okay. So when you start to doubt yourself, call one of us. Call anybody here. Call anybody in this field. Call anybody sitting around you, because this is how it works. We helped raise you. We were all your coaches. Remember the Blue Claws team? We were all there, right? You guys have been together since you were first, second grade. Think of us as your sponsors. Because after all the consumption you guys have done the last 2 years, God knows you need a sponsor. It's 12 steps, starts with A, ends with A, okay? Here we go. Prove yourself. When somebody walks up to you and says, hey, you can't, you look at them and say, in your head, challenge accepted. Because you can. You're the greatest. We all helped you become the greatest. And let's face it, you won the ticket. You're living here in Awesomeville. Muhammad Ali stood up one day and said, I'm 2 times the greatest. Imagine that, having the ability to stand up in front of a crowd, national TV, and say, I'm not just the greatest, I'm 2 times the greatest. I'm the best. Not only am I the best, I'm 2 times the best. The level of confidence some would call arrogant. What I want to share with you today is about your inner arrogance. And inner arrogance is what you have inside your heart. When you step up and you plan and you prepare, you have the ability to step on the field or step into a room and sit down or take a test or do whatever it is that you have to do because you prepared. You have the confidence to succeed. So, self-confidence, inner arrogance, not to be confused with the self-esteem. And I know I said that earlier, but self-esteem, that's that little eggshell that you walk around with that nobody or everybody tries not to crack, right? Because, you know, it's the everybody gets a trophy thing, and you know, the whole nothing, that's a whole nother rant for a whole nother day. But self-esteem, a little bit different. I'll save that for your college talk. We play to win. Second place is first place for the losing team. That's how we go at it. Ready? Inner arrogance is how you feel in your heart about your skills and ability. It's not about what you do to portray them, because remember, humble and humility and kindness goes a lot farther than arrogance and cockiness. This world today, you need to be able to walk into a room, head up, eye contact, shake a hand with confidence like you mean it, and use your people skills and read the room. Know who you're talking to, and know how to speak their language. And the only way you get to be able to do that is to prepare. If you don't know what you're talking about, shut the F up. The worst thing anybody can ever find in a boardroom is somebody yik-yakking and talking like they know what they're talking about and they have no clue what they're talking about. If you don't know what you're talking about, shut the fuck up. It's a life lesson. It's going to get you far. All right? So inner arrogance revolves around the planning, preparing to the point to where you know deep inside your heart, whatever the task at hand, you will be successful and you will work at it because it would become second nature. Gary Player, pro golfer, said the harder you work, the luckier you get. You want to know why? Because the harder you work, the easier it gets. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, high-level athletes, they study their opponents for hours, for days before they step on a field for competition. They know when they walk onto that field, just like if everybody does their job, everybody performs their task, they will win. They will be successful. Just like anytime anybody, businessman, lawyer, doctor, anybody walks into a boardroom or you walk into a medical room, there's a task at hand. If it fails, somebody didn't do their job. So here's the thing. All that preparedness, you better get your shit together. And here's the reason why. There's 4 million high school grads this year. About 70% of them are going to college. That's 2.8 million people. 2.8 million kids are going to be freshmen in college next year. Let's just say you're in the middle of the road. That means you're 1.4 million. You better be the greatest. Be the greatest. Accept my challenge. In today's day, you have to be exceptional, confident, and prepared. Inner arrogance, planning, preparing to the point to where you know what you have to do, and getting it done, and knowing you can do it, running the race, putting in the hours, training, working, shooting basketballs, doing layups, hitting baseballs. Do the work and be prepared and find your success. Talk a little bit about failure, but failure sucks. Here's the thing about failure. You ready? Failure never stops you if you're truly determined. Just because you try and fail does not mean that it's the end of the line. If you give up the first time you fail, if you go to your freshman year of college and you take that one test and you fail that test and you go, oh, I'm done, pack it up, I'm going home. Guess what? Fact is, you didn't want it. You didn't want it that much. You're going to fail, and you're going to fail many times before you find your success. Without failure, there's no adversity. Walt Disney, Thomas Edison, Steve Jobs failed numerous times before they found their greatness and attained their awesomeness. What's important is that when you fail, you adjust your mindset. When you fail, you turn the corner and start thinking to yourself, what did I do wrong? How did I fail? Fix it. If you're bullheadedness enough to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, you're going to get the same results over and over and over again. If you fail and you go at it the same way you went at it the first time, you're going to fail again. That's why you have to change and shift your mindset. Think about what you did. Think about how you studied. Think about how you prepared. If you didn't prepare, get your shit together and start studying. Michael Jordan. I missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times he's been called on to take the game-winning shot, and he's missed. He failed over and over and over again in his life, and that's why he succeeds. That's a nice quote. Embrace your failing as a learning tool. Here's the thing, people. You are the greatest. You can perform at levels greater than your ability. Don't tell anybody that you can't do something. You can do anything. And don't ever let anybody tell you that you're not the greatest. You're all 2 times the greatest. That's why we work so hard. For you, so that you can be the greatest. And so that you can take this greatness and take it out into the world and show some other people how great they can be. Don't hoard your greatness. Turn it around and give it to somebody else. Because there's a lot of people out there that have not experienced anything close to the greatness that you have. I hate this little stylus thing. deleted like 3 pages of my writing. Thank God, right? Like, we're done with this shit. Everybody's like, beer time.
Oh, yeah.
Parched. I feel like I'm preaching up here.
You are.
Could we have a prayer? Dear Heavenly Father, let's bless everybody here tonight. Prayer said.
What? All right.
Okay, back to the serious stuff. Real quick, I'll leave you with this. I've seen kids, I was a principal for 13 years. I've seen kids come through my building, sit in my office and tell me, Mr. Pulowski, I couldn't get my homework done because my mom was working in the apartment and I had to sleep in the hallway. That kid had to work a little bit harder than you. I had kids come and sit in my office and tell me I couldn't get it done because, my mom and dad were fighting. My dad beat me up, and we had a fight, and I ran out of the house. Those things happen, right? How about the autistic kids? I had an autistic kid make a piece of art for me, put it on my desk. I think it was like 2010. I pulled it out the other day, and I called him because he's graduating this year, University of Michigan. Yeah.
Really?
He had to work a little bit harder than you. There are kids that come home at the end of the day. At the end of the day, they don't have dinner. They don't have moms. They don't have dads. They have to work a little bit harder than you. You're blessed. You're truly blessed. You hit the mother load. You swam that race and you won. Thank God, right? Thank God. And here's the thing. Don't waste this opportunity. Don't waste the opportunity. What do we have in front of us? Look at all the robes and all the tassels, right? And parents, I'm not sure if you know about the blue rope tassels. Those are. I listened to that whole thing online today about the whole speech. There's so many cords. Cord for this, cord for that. It's like everybody could get a cord. Today in our presence, we have 9 young men. They traveled overseas on an adventure to Europe, specifically Germany, where they toured Dachau. And they wrote a paper. I think they wrote it was an email. It was, a reflection. They wrote a reflection.
Yeah, right.
It's like a sentence, right, Jeff? A sentence. But in the process, they drank probably 5 gallons of beer at Oktoberfest. Those young men, they conquered I want to call it the European exchange cord. And that's what they're wearing today. It's the blue-white cord that's from Home Depot, and it's cut with a hot knife. Those guys are having fun. They did it all in 2 days. I'm going to end with this, because I know we're ready. Don't waste your opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. Failure builds character. Work hard. Make your parents proud. Make your community proud, because Lord knows we put in a lot of time and effort. Cleaned up a lot of messes, had a lot of surprises on those Sunday mornings when you guys would stroll in around midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Today I found a fork in my driveway. Don't know how it got there, but hey, surprise. It's a fork from the dining room. It's good stuff, right? Surprise. Parents, you know what I'm talking about. You walk down in the basement, you're like, surprise, how'd that get there? Who knows, ready? Work hard, achieve your greatness, and come back and share it with us, because we'd love to hear about it. On that note, I'd like to call up Mrs. Pulowski. We're going to hand out some diplomas.
Yeah, Mrs. Pulowski!
What?
Just threw it in the driveway.
Malcolm Alexander?
Oh, there we go. Ready? Let's get a picture. Here, give me that back. Okay, ready? This is the photo op, Mom and Dad. In my eyes. All right.
Rush Fairhill. Ben Dini. Colin DeClee. Matthew Fox. Matthew James. James.
Isn't it Matthew John?
I'm so sorry.
I always say that.
Matt, look this way. Or look at his eyes. Whatever you want.
Can't hear me?
No, not at all.
What?